Hey everybody, welcome back to another design tutorial in Adobe Xd, and today we'll be designing these cool search bar animations in Adobe Xd. As you can see, they're swift, they're quick to make, and they work really well with both Android and iOS. So without further ado, let's just get started. So before the tutorial begins, go ahead in the comments and tell me which is your favorite search box animation out of these three. Is it 1, is it 2, or is it 3? Go ahead, write in the comments right now. Okay, I've started off with an artboard which is 1000 by 1000 pixels, and I have also started off with this kind of like an iPhone screen. You can use whatever dimensions you want. So here what I want to do first of all is create an ellipse, and I want this ellipse to be not too big, not too small, so in the middle. So we're just gonna stick to about, say, 90 by 90 pixels. You can even do 100 if that suits you as well. So let's do 100 pixels on the diameter. So I will change the border, I will remove the border, and I will give this blue that I have already selected, and I will bring in this search icon which I've already kept in the downloads folder, and I will make sure this is 40 by 40. And the diameter of this circle was 100, so let's bring it up to 50 by 50 pixels, half of that. And let's change the fill of this to white. And let's move this in with the circle. Perfect. So let's center this out, and I'm just going to group these. Command G or Control G to group these two. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select just the circle and give this a shadow. So the shadow will be 12 by 24. You can increase this, decrease this, depending on what your needs are, and it's just going to be 10% in opacity. So just a slight shadow. Give a bit of depth, that's it. And now comes the slightly tricky part. So I'm now gonna create a circle, but not really a circle, it should be an oval. And make the oval in such a way that it's this similar dimension as compared to the artboard or this iPhone in this case. And I want this to be knee high, so just till the middle of this circle, right? I'm just going to select both of these, and I'm going to group these. So Command G to group them, and this inner circle, I'm just going to reduce the opacity of this circle to 0. So now if we rotate the group together, as you can see, there's a slight rotation in the circle and it reaches the other end, just like that. If it were a circle, it would rotate a lot and it would complete the entire diameter of the circle or the radius. But in this case, since it's an oval, you can make it have a less amount of travel as compared to a circle. So you can increase the height of this, experiment with it, and figure out what is the best one for your animation. But this, I'll just keep it just like that, right? And I will also create, of course, a search text field. Otherwise, where does the user type in the search query? So in this case, I'm just gonna increase the border radius to 100, just like that, and I'm gonna give the border 2-pixel border, and I want this to be blue, the border to be the same blue as the search button. And I want to decrease the width to this little almost rectangle shape here. And that's it, and I just put it behind the circle, that's it. And one more thing I can do is hide it, so I can say Command, comma, or Control, comma to hide this in the background. Perfect. Now I just duplicate this artboard, and I just simply rotate the circle till it reaches the other end, just like that, right? So it began here and it ended up here. If you want to make certain adjustments, you can. If you want to, change the position a little bit, bring it in a little bit, you can do that as well. And here, I can't really see the search box anymore, so I'll just go here, and as you can see, I've hidden it. I'll click on this eye icon right here, and I'll click on it, and it appears again. So now I'll just stretch this out till the end of this, and there you go. And I can just adjust it based on where I want this to be. Perfect. And the search icon is not rotating in itself. So I'll just rotate it manually and change it to something like this. Perfect. That is absolutely perfect. So let's go ahead and prototype this. If I double click on the circle, this arrow will appear, and I'll bring this arrow to the second artboard. I'll change the trigger to tap, action to auto animate, and I'll change this to ease in out since we want a smoother animation. So, and I'll change this to 0.6 seconds, the duration. So let's try this out. If I click on this, see how it animates, and it also makes the search bar appear seamlessly. Let's try this again. I'll just show you the effect again and see how it comes up. That's pretty cool. I mean, that you can use, you can change the direction or the position of this circle to anywhere on the artboard, and it'll give essentially a similar effect. Huge shout out to one of my subscribers, Ugur Dalkiran, that's his username on GitHub, for creating this cool animation that I had done a while back. I'll give the link to the video in the description. But this was a cool navigation icon animation that I had done, and he has basically made it for React Native for both Android and iOS. And you can just copy the dependence, you can just utilize this resource from his GitHub page. I'll give that in the link in the description. So if you really need a good navigation bar like this in React Native, go to his GitHub and support this guy. Okay, so for the next design, which is my favorite design out of all these, we will have to do a little bit of masking. So first of all, I'll create an entire bar which stretches from one end to the other, and I want this to be this this light rose pink here, something like this. And I'll just bring in the search icon again, and I also increase this the size of this to 50 pixels by 50 pixels again. And you can either keep it black or you can make it white like I'm doing here. Perfect. And for this, we're not going to make any shadows. We're going to basically duplicate this. So make sure there's another rectangle, and we're going to change the border radius a little bit. So for the first stage, what we need to do is make sure that the last border radius is 50. So if I click on this rectangle on the right with these these dotted rectangles, and I can manually change each one of these. So I want all of the other border radiuses to be 10 by 10, or border radii for those math geeks out there. And I want this to be the same height and width. So width is a little more, so I'll just make it 82, and I'll make sure that I'm not locking anything here. 82 by 82, yeah, for a perfect like a square shape. And I'm going to mask these two. So Command Shift M. So as you can see, now the entire rectangle is masked below this. But what we're going to do is we're going to change the position of this rectangle below this. So we're going to make sure it's towards the left hand side, and it's shifted towards the left. Leave a little bit of space on the right just for a safe area. And there you go. There you have it. Now for the second artboard, we'll just duplicate this. Command D, duplicate. And here what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift this rectangle to the right. And one more thing I'm going to do is shift this shape to the right as well. So we're going to do both, right? And for the masked rectangle, which is rectangle 17, I'm going to change the border radius again. In this case, I want this second last one to be 50 and the last one to be 10. See how it shifts from one end to the other, and it just seamlessly will change shape as well. And I want this search icon to come here as well, and just center it out, just to visually center it out. Perfect. Once you've made this position like this, what I want you to do is just shift the rectangle to the rightmost, just like that, so that it seamlessly animates. One last step that we need to do is actually create the search bar. We can't forget the search bar or the search box. So we'll change this and we'll give this 2 pixel border just as we did before. I'll put this behind the search, and I want this border color to be the same as this pink. And we will also activate this dotted rectangle here and give all these 10 by 10, and the last one we want this to be 50, just like that, so it fits in like this, right? And I want the border, the opacity to be 0. And one more thing that I need to do is just reduce the size here, just like this, just to hide behind this. And I'm going to copy that over here. So I'm just going to shift it like this, and also give 50 pixels on this end as well, just so that it blends in well. Now I will go ahead and prototype. If I click on this and I bring this arrow to the second artboard, Auto Animate, ease in out, 0.6 seconds. Do the same thing for this one as well. Ease in out, 0.6, Auto Animate. So let's try this out now. So if I click on this, see how it seamlessly animates? That's pretty fun, you know. I like how it just blends in, right? So for our last design, I've essentially copied over this search icon, and you can just copy over any search icon. I've done this thin lined search icon for this effect, but you can bring in any one of yours. And I'll convert the color to this simple green and just make it slightly dark green. Perfect. And now I'm going to morph this with the icon. There are no second elements. So I'm going to double click on the icon and make sure this icon is an SVG. If it's an SVG, you can easily edit it inside Xd. If I double click, as you can see, all the anchor points are here. And I just want to bring all these inner anchor points out like this. Perfect. And just do this same thing for each one of these and see how this kind of comes into this diamond, almost a diamond shape or kite shape, as you will. And it just creates this cool little effect, and this will work for a lot of themes, a lot of icons out there. I'll just make this slightly smaller and put it right here. So the second step only involves duplicating the artboard, Command D to duplicate it again, and just bringing these to their respective points. So the top one will come to the top left, and if I double click on it, it'll just become a rectangle, and the bottom left will come here. I double click it and I'll just stretch it out to the end, and the third one will come here, and double click it to make it just a solid rectangle, and the fourth one will come here. And for the search bar, what I'll do is I'll first select all of these inner anchor points. Just zoom in if you have to, and once I've selected all of these anchor points, I just want to hold shift and press on the right arrow key to just shift this one to the right end, just like that. Perfect. And I just want to I'll just use the pen tool to quickly make a line at the bottom, just like that, and make this white in color as well, and make this 2 pixels in size. Perfect. Now one thing is missing. It's just coming out of the artboard. So what I do, I just duplicate this artboard, Command D to duplicate this inner artboard, as to say this white iPhone, and just bring it on top like this and say Command Shift M. As you can see, this is now created mask, and it's now inside this. Now the mask group is 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this one as well, the white, and I'm going to bring the magnifier, which is the SVG, and I'll say Command Shift M, and make sure the mask group names are the same. So mask group 5 is here. I want this to be mask group 5 as well. So mask group 5 for both the artboards. Now we'll make the magic happen. Go to prototype mode, double click on this icon, and just bring the arrow to the second artboard, Auto Animate. For this, I'll say ease out. 0.4 seconds will be fine. And let's play this, and just, you know, for the second one as well, just double click here and bring it right back for the same effect to come back. So if I click on this rectangle, see how it just morphs in with the SVG icon. Isn't this super cool? For me, this is like really, really cool. If you like that video, go ahead and give this video a huge thumbs up, and also subscribe to this channel. It really helps me out create videos every Monday and Thursday. Subscribe and click on that bell icon right next to it. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.